Hi, good morning everybody and welcome to our channel. This is Vanessa and I am your host for today. As we all know, June 19 was officially designated as World Sickle Cell Day to raise awareness all over the world. And today, I am privileged to introduce to all of you my team members who is working hand to hand to increase public understanding about sickle cell here in Nigeria. Let me start with Mr. Patrick Eneche, MBPSS, Director and Co-founder of SAMVIC Eneche Health Trust Fund. Welcome, sir, to the show.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Maxwell Eneche, the Coordinator and of SAMVIC Health Trust Fund. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, Vanessa. Good to be here.
Thank you, sir. And Dr. Sam Agada, who is a medical doctor with the Federal Medical Center in Lokoja and the founder of the Health Sentinel. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Welcome. Mr. Patrick, can you tell us about SAMVIC Eneche Health Trust Fund and how you came about it?
All right. SAMVIC Eneche Health Trust Fund is an NGO that was registered in April 10, 2017, which is being managed and partnered with Total Child Care Initiative Abuja. The aim of coming up with SAMVIC was to help in throwing more advocacy to sickle cell anemia after being a victim of sickle cell anemia disease, I as a patient, and also losing about 2 siblings. So I and my family came up and decided to come up with SAMVIC Health Trust Fund to be able to throw more light on how sickle cell can be managed, how we can be able to, people who are not even aware of this should be able to have more information about sickle cell anemia. Thank you.
Okay, so you mean you already lost 2 of your siblings?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Because of sickle cell?
Yes.
Okay, so
The name SAMVIC came up as Samuel Eneche and Victor Eneche, who died respectively 1996 and 2016.
okay, thank you for sharing it to us. Dr. Sam,
Yes.
what is sickle cell disease and why is it called sickle cell?
Okay, thank you for the question.
You're welcome.
Sickle cell disease is a genetic disorder that is caused by an abnormality, what they call genetic mutation in hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a substance that is in the blood. So when there's this mutation, it can lead to sickle cell disease. And the mutation is not just anywhere. It can occur. It's in a beta chain. It's usually in the beta chain of hemoglobin.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it occurs, it results to sickle cell disease, and then it's characterized by the sickling of the red blood cells. If you know, the red blood cells, they are spherical in shape.
Okay.
Yeah, but when this mutation occurs, the shape from spherical it becomes sickle. You know, something like sickling. So that's where the name sickle cell generated. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
enlightening us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Sam. Mr. Maxwell, as a director of SAMVIC Health Trust Fund, where do you see your organization in next 10 years from now?
Okay, clearly our missions are to advocate for sickle cell, create awareness, and of course bring about support to people who are unable to meet, because sickle cell is financially involving.
Yeah.
So we believe that there are some people who cannot even reach the medications or even have finance to get this medication. So our mission, which is on advocating for the patients and the carriers of this disease, as well as creating awareness,
Okay.
and of course supporting people with this disease. So with this mission, we see ourselves to meeting a number of persons, reaching out to a number of persons, because from the sample we took while launching the project, we realized that a lot of people are even still mal-informed about this disease. A lot of people do not know about this menace. So we are, in 10 years' time, we are looking at numbers. We are looking at numbers. How many people would we have reached? Our advocacy, how many people would we have gotten to? And we intend to have structures already. Structures that will cater holistically for sickle cell disease. And
that's good.
And it's,
Yeah. So you mean you already launched it, and it's like you already try to tell another how to say it? You already launched it to people, and people already knows it. How?
okay, now the program, it was launched officially in April 2017, and during the launching we took a pilot, like a sample test. We went around to find out
Pilot test to which place?
within Lokoja community in Kogi State. We went around, we sampled people's opinion. What do you even know? Do you know about sickle cell? Do you know? And to our greatest dismay, we saw that there were a lot of people, even a testimony. One of the people that were invited, even from Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria, somebody was billed to wed sometime that year, 2017 December. The testimony we garnered from there was that he wasn't even aware that sickle cell existed. So he had, that was like an eye-opener for him. He now went back up, but glory be to God, he was compatible with his fiancée. So it was an eye-opener to a lot of people, and we reached out to, so we are looking at numbers, like I said initially, creating awareness, let people even know about this menace. Yes. It's one of our targets. So in 10 years' time, we are looking at having reached at least 10 million Nigerians, so that they be aware that this menace exists. We're also looking at putting out a structure out there whereby holistically we can intervene for sickle cell. We have data credentials of people who are affected with these sicknesses, and give them the aid we can afford them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is good. Thank you so much. Mr. Patrick,
Yes.
is there a particular group that is most likely to be affected by sickle cell?
Based on research, it is known, it's a known fact that people that are most likely to be affected with sickle cell disease are the African American
Okay.
descent.
So is it only by African and American that can have this sickle cell?
Yes, we have the African, there are a few of them. We have the African American, we have the Hispanic, we also have the...
I heard about Arab.
Yes, the Arabians, where there comes in, it's some of the genes, like we have the Arab, there's an Arab nation that is also channeled to the African descent. We also have the core Africans, which are like people from the West Africa, Central Africa. They're about to be more prone to having this disease. Then if you go down to the Asian, Southeast Asia and Asian area, what they have there is another type of, because what you see from the African American and the African, which is called the blacks from the West Africa and Central Africa, like Nigeria for instance, is the hemoglobin SS, which is this sickle cell. Why in the Asian aspect, what you see, and the Arab, what you normally hear from that side are the thalassemia, which is the hemoglobin SB and SC. So this comes one, but the most popular one is the hemoglobin SS, which is what we have with the African American descent and the African in core, which is they are prone to having this issue more often than any other race.
Okay, thank you. So,
Yes.
you talk about hemoglobin SS, so, and then you said that you're a sickle cell
Yes.
anemia person, right? So, can you, are you a SS person or, and sorry, how did you get it from?
Okay, mine is I am on the popular one, which is called the hemoglobin SS, which is sickle cell anemia, and which is more common. And I got it through my both parents. That is inheriting my dad is AS, my mom is AS, inheriting both the two S to form my own gene, which is the sickle cell, which is the hemoglobin SS.
Okay, thank you, I understand now. So you get it from your parents who get both sickle cell anemia or only traits?
The traits.
Okay,
Yes, the traits.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Mr. Maxwell, what should be avoided by patient with SCD? What do you think should be avoided?
Okay, Vanessa, I think before you tell somebody what not to do, you have to tell that person what to do. Let's be more positive.
Okay.
There are a couple of do's that people, that's sickle cell patients, should engage in. We have like daily intakes of folic acid, folic acid supplements. This and other vitamins help the bone marrow.
But I'm sorry, Mr. Maxwell, to interrupt you. How about you? Your genotype, are you also SS like Mr. Patrick, or?
Okay, I am of AA genotype.
That means, sorry, can you enlighten our viewers?
Okay, there are three common prevalent in this part of the world, Nigeria. There are three types. Permit me to say that, of course, I stand to be corrected by doctor. There are three aspects genotype that are prevalent. They are prevalent in this part of the world. That's Nigeria. We have the AA, the AS, and the SS. That's the hemoglobin SS that he spoke about. Now, the AA, we see those people as those who can intermarry. That's talking about if you there is what we call if you plot it. The people who can, are you with me? So the AA are those who can marry the SS and of course bring offspring. They can also intermarry with the AS to bring offspring. So those guys are just there. We are here we are lifesavers.
Wow,
so permit me to say that we are lifesavers to trash out the sickle cell anemia disease. Then we have the AS. We call them the carriers. They have this trait. If they intermarry with another AS to bring forth an offspring that has sickle cell anemia disease, that's the SS we were talking about. Then of course the sickle cell SS carriers, that's the patients.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Maxwell.
I wasn't true. I said these people, you take folic acid regularly. This helps, of course, produce new red blood cell in your bone marrow. This folic acid and other vitamin supplements, fruits, and all of those. You take excess water. This helps to flush the sickling,
okay,
because
so you need to drink more water. Yeah,
you hydrate. What sickle cell does is, as the name implies, the sickle cell, it blocks the blood flow in the bone marrow. The sickle shape blocks the bone marrow, so blood is unable to flow. Okay. So what this water does is it flushes that sickle cell, and there is free flow, so there is no crisis anymore for the patient of sickle cell.
If the blood cannot flow like regularly, it will make the patient like
feel pains, and that's crisis. So for it not to degenerate into crisis, you take regular intake, or you hydrate always. Then as well, you exercise regularly, but you still seek advice from medical practitioners on how much of exercise to do, because you are not even still meant to fatigue as a sickle cell patient. Then for the don'ts, you don't have to smoke. You don't have to smoke. Sickle cell patients, you don't smoke. Likewise, sickle cell patients, you don't fatigue. Like I said, you don't fatigue.
Like overstress yourself.
Yes, you don't overstress yourself. you manage yourself, drink water and all of those, basically. Then you take over-counter drugs. There are some medications, of course. Meet your medical practitioner; they'll advise you better. There are drugs like ibuprofen and all of those. If you don't take them in the right quantities, it could still affect your kidney and all of those. So just seek the aid of a medical practitioner if you're a sickle cell patient, and of course you'll be good.
You, right?
You'll be good. It's not a death sentence.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Maxwell.
Yeah, it's okay.
So let me go now to Dr. Sam, because as Mr. Maxwell say that there can be treatment to be done for a sickle cell patient. So what do you think is the treatment for sickle cell? Is it like herbal, supplement, or orthodox medicine? Maybe you can help us to explain more.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Ms. Vanessa. Well, the treatment for sickle cell patients varies. Yeah, because most of them show symptoms like crises. There are so many crises. There are few crises. We have vaso-occlusive
Dr. Sam,
crisis.
sorry, I only have one question. So, when is the time that you will know that you're a sickle that you're a sickle cell, you have sickle cell, or you're a carrier? Like, what is the age? Is there any age gap, or how?
Most people is between 5 to 6 years. That's when they know, because most people don't even know their genotype until they come down with symptoms. You get, then when they come to the hospital, we now do sickling tests for them. So most of these crises, we have vaso-occlusive crisis, we have hemolytic crisis, we have aplastic crisis, megaloblastic crisis, and some other form of crisis. So what the director said earlier, vaso-occlusive crisis. These cells are sickled again, and not all the cells are sickled. Some are still spherical in shape. So when these cells pass through the blood vessels, they tend to collide against each other, and therefore blocking the flow of the blood. Yes. So this will lead to so many pains, like severe pains. And then in the
which kind of symptom? Is it only pain?
No, it's not only pain. Like pain, when it blocks like that, you can feel pain. And then in the bones, they are what we call aplastic. Bone marrows are responsible for the production of these cells. Yeah. So in the bones, the aplastic crisis, that is the cells responsible for the production of red blood cells in the body. So during this crisis, the bone marrow will now start producing immature red blood cells. That's reticulocytes. So when the immature red blood cells now mix with the mature red blood cells, it begins to, that is when some of the crises begin to erupt. Then talking about the crisis again, the anemia, it's as a crisis, that is anemic crisis. That is when you go into anemia, your blood level begins to decrease. The normal lifespan of red blood cells is about 120 days, but in sickle cell disease patients, it's less than that because of the sickled nature of the red blood cells. So most of the red blood cells don't even last up to 70 days, 80 days, then they now die off. So now, with all those sequestration, you see that, some of these patients will now begin to be tired. They get tired easily. They don't, they become pale, conjunctival pallor, palmar pallor. When you see them, some of them are paper white. So they need blood transfusion regularly. So talking about the treatment, orthodox, herbal, and supplements are okay, but there are challenges with some of all these treatments. Like talking about the herbal now, recently we just got to know that Madagascar found cure to coronavirus with herbs. So yeah, herbs works. I don't judge that herbs works a lot, but the downside of herbs is you don't know the strength. The dosages are not calculated. You don't know how many, like in orthodox, like you can say, okay, give 5 milligrams of this drug and it will work for so duration of time. There's everything is calculated. There's half-life, there's duration of action, there's mode of action, there's everything, there's interaction, there's drug elimination and everything calculated in orthodox medicine. But in herbal medicine, there are, all those things are not there. So that's just the only thing. If I don't have, personally, I don't, herbs work for people. I've seen patients who come to the hospital and then they use herbs. Even we advise them not to use herbs, but still it works for them.
Okay.
Yeah, it works for them. So, like the director said, supplements, folic acid helps to build blood levels. So, folic acid, we give sickle cell disease, folic acid, vitamin C, sometimes give them fesolates, that is the iron tablets, to help build up the blood levels. And even hematinics, some of syrup hematinics like astimine, astifa, we give them sometimes. And then talking about the treatments for sickle cell disease, orthodox, there's this drug that's been working, they call it hydroxyurea. It's been working for years. Many people, it has been proven to be efficient in the management of sickle cell.
Okay, it has proven.
Yeah. Hydroxyurea, it reduces the rate of crisis in sickle cell disease patients.
That's good.
Yeah, so many people use hydroxyurea, and then there's this drug that that was just introduced in 2017. They call it L-glutamine powder, oral powder. It's a powder you mix. It's also used to treat sickle cell. So it's just a new drug. You can check it out. It was approved in 2017, about 3 years ago. So coupled with the fact that sickle cell disease it's a known disease, I think in the whole world, in the entire world, there are about 25 million people
who get sickle cell.
Yeah, in the
all
whole
over
world,
the world.
All over the world, 25 million, and that's quite a lot of.
Yeah, that's
really
bad.
So there has been researches everywhere about sickle cell disease, and then like the director said earlier, hydration. You need to hydrate as a sickle cell disease patient. You need to hydrate. You need to exercise, and then one of the don'ts in sickle cell is you don't try to avoid extremes of temperatures. Like try to avoid too cold areas and too hot areas. Just try
it's not good for the body.
Yeah, it's not good for the body. Just try to maintain optimal temperature. Yeah. So avoid excess cold and try to. So that's just the same. And then some years ago, researchers have been, there's this permanent. I don't know if you've heard of bone marrow transplant.
Bone marrow transplant, I already heard, but I thought it's only for cancer patients.
No. That's the only cure. I can say that's the only cure for sickle cell disease patients. Because what they do is just to replace the bone marrow of a sickle cell disease with the bone marrow of a non-sickle cell disease patient. And it's usually done like siblings. Like if siblings, like if there's a carrier in the family, they can just donate bone marrow. But not many parts of the world have accepted this method of treatment as permanent, because bone marrow has to do with, you have to let a life go. It's not fully accepted because the organ rejection rate is high. Yeah, sometimes you can get a bone marrow from a patient and then it doesn't fit into the system of the sickle cell. What the body does, it rejects the transplantation, and then that is excess money. As in to do this procedure, it's some millions of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
It's very expensive. So that's the downside. And
so to treat sickle cell is what you're trying to say. It's expensive.
It's
right?
expensive. It's expensive.
If you don't have the means, it's hard for you to treat.
So the best way is just to manage it conservatively. Yeah, with the blood transfusion in severe anemia, the use of analgesics in crisis. There are so many analgesics that we use to control crisis.
So you say that for the medicine of sickle cell, it's very expensive to get.
Yeah.
So like those medicine that you say earlier, like hydroxyurea and the
L-glutamine oral powder.
How about those patients here in Nigeria? Is it easy for them to get it from here, or you can only get it from outside the country?
Well, hydroxyurea in Nigeria is expensive. You can't. It's not even available in most parts of the country. Yeah.
How about the other one?
L-glutamine. Yeah, it's a new drug.
Okay, it's a
It's
new
a new
drug.
drug. Yeah,
It's
gradually.
never introduced here, or it already introduced here?
I've not seen it used in Nigeria, but it's been used in other parts of the world. Yeah, you know, Nigeria is a third world country, and then the health sector of the country it's still developing. Yeah, so I guess with time it will come and it will come to this part
let's
of
pray
the world.
together this time.
Yeah,
will
let's
come.
pray to come to this.
Thank you, Dr. San.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you so much for answering that question.
Okay.
And Mr. Patrick, what is the advice you have for people with sickle cell traits, popularly known as carrier?
Okay, my advice for people with sickle cell traits, which is known as carrier or AS, is that first of all, before you want to get married or you have a spouse you are intending to get married to, it's advised for both of you to go and check your genotype from 1, 2, 3 hospitals. Take for instance, during my time, I had issues in the past when I was wrongly diagnosed. I had a case whereby 2 teaching hospitals in Nigeria from 2 different states diagnosed me as AS, while I was later confirmed as a full sickle cell patient about 1996-97 at the Professor Charles Wambebe's Research Institute.
Okay.
Now, if for you as a carrier, for you to be really confirmed that you and your spouse are okay to go in your marriage, you have to get results from 1, 2, 3 hospitals, different locations, and with good equipment, so that you can confirm that yes. And another advice I want to have is, some of our people in this part of the world who want to put it as a faith in God that, oh, when I have sickle cell patient, if tomorrow I want to marry based on love. Yes, love is a beautiful thing, but because of the love I have, I want to marry the same sickle cell carrier, and I'm also a carrier. Then I want to go on with that marriage because I believe that God is going to change the genotype tomorrow. No, we are actually putting God to test. You don't just wake up, just like today we have the coronavirus, the HIV, the HN1 disease going on. Why don't you just, if you think it's God could change things, then you can actually go and inject yourself with HIV infection or coronavirus infection, so that you then go and pray for God to remove you, because it's like putting God to test when you said you are a carrier and getting married to a carrier to bring out children who are going to suffer.
Yes.
Now today I work with clutches, so I wasn't born this way, so definitely if you bring a child out tomorrow and something happened, I've lost siblings who were not even up to 15 years of age, and in cases like that, you don't know how it's going to happen for the children you're going to bring out. So it's advised you run your test, confirm it. If there is any issue, try your possible best to terminate the wedding or the plans to getting married to both carriers, because I must be honest, it's not even a sickness to wish your worst enemy. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Patrick, I only want to ask you, please permit me to ask you, or if you don't want to answer, it's okay also, but it's just that you already talked about this, that you have this tick, right?
Yes.
So I only want to ask, what happened? Are you born like this? But you say you didn't born like this. So,
Yes.
so what really happens?
Yeah, actually it came up after my early days in the university, about 2005, when I had septic arthritis of both knees, which was as a result of sickle cell anemia. Then when diagnosed of septic arthritis of both knees, the legs were open up and it was not properly managed. And that was how I lost the 2 knees. Then with time, my other medical practitioners came in to help me with to work with the with an aid, that's using a walking stick and a walking frame to be able to move around. So this is how it came up. So sickle cell can actually bring out a lot of infections.
Okay.
So there are a lot that at my age I'm not supposed to have septic arthritis of knees.
Yes.
It's a sickness or disease for elderly people, but because of the infection of my gene, because of the disorder I have with my gene, which is the sickle cell, I had to be among those who had septic arthritis of both knees at a younger age. Normally it happens only one knee or like that, but I had for both knees. So which is something to worry about.
Everybody that has sickle cell that can have that septic arthritis, or
no, it's not medically it's not everybody, but these are infections that can, because there are other infections like osteomyelitis, which I had those ones at early age.
Wow, you also have it.
Yes, I had osteomyelitis. I had this second infection, which legs are being opened up, the one for septic arthritis. Some patients, I have my two siblings who died as this, as a cause of sickle cell, didn't have any of the infections of any of their skin being opened up or any kind of ulcer. So I think it varies based on how the percentage of sickling in your system and all those things. So these are, but it's still advisable to know more from what medical practitioners have to advise when you have a patient who is a sickle cell, who has a sickle cell disorder.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah.
Let me go to Dr. Sam because I want to know more about this sickle cell. I'm triggered and intrigued about his condition. So, Dr. Sam, in case there are people that are not diagnosed of a sickle cell as a sickle cell patient, is there any sign or symptoms that can show to like me? Is there any kind of symptoms or signs that can show to my body for them to know that I'm a sickle cell patient?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question.
You're welcome.
That is usually one of the frequently asked questions. From birth, a sickle cell patient cannot be diagnosed at birth because there's what we call fetal hemoglobin.
Okay, fetal
Yeah,
hemoglobin.
fetal hemoglobin. And fetal hemoglobin does not, the beta chain of fetal hemoglobin is not usually affected at birth. So as the child grows, the fetal hemoglobin disappears at 6 months, thereabout. 6 months, after 6 months. So the fetal hemoglobin disappears, and then the adult hemoglobin now is now
Shown.
shown.
Okay.
So even adults have fetal hemoglobin, but of little percentage. So now most of the patients don't know their genotype until they come down with maybe crisis, sickle cell crisis.
Okay.
But before the 6 months, there are ways you can know that, okay, or suspect that this person is a sickle cell disease patient. There is what we call stigmata of sickle cell disease. Yes, stigmata, like when you see someone, like your spot diagnosis of a sickle cell disease. There are few of them, although they are questionable because, like, one of the stigmata is frontal bursting. Like, the frontal head will be burst, like, will be swollen. Frontal bursting. There's what we call granopathy. Granopathy is like irregularity of the jaw bones. Maybe one will be bigger than the other. Yeah. Then the another stigmata is slender arms and slender arms and legs. Slender arms and legs. And then another one is swollen feet and hand. So those are some of the stigmata of the sickle cell disease. You can also call them signs because these are what you see. They are signs. Okay. Then the symptoms. Talking about the symptoms, most of the symptoms are crisis, sickle cell crisis. That is the bone pain, severe bone pain, acute chest syndrome, even severe anemia, like even infection of any form, osteoarthritis, septic, any septic form of
Is it only infection in the blood or infection?
Like any form of infection, you know the from the morphology of the red blood cells of sickle cell disease patient, the cells are sickled. It's not just the form, but the functionality is affected.
Okay.
You get? So now, like, if a red blood cell that is supposed to move oxygen from here to here is now sickled, the ability to move oxygen will be compromised.
Okay.
Yeah. So the cells will not be able to move to carry out their normal function. And you know the cells of the body has many functions like so it's the functionality is compromised and
Okay.
everything. So those are some of the symptoms of sickle cell disease patients. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. I have one more question for you. It's regarding Mr. Patrick, but I think it's more better that you're the one who will answer because you're the doctor here.
Okay.
So like I said earlier that before you get married, it's not only love, right? That is what he said. So like, what if you get married to SS person or AS person? Is his children also can get this sickness?
Well, actually, if you're a carrier and then you marry, like if your genotype is AA, and then you marry someone with AS, you can only have children with traits.
Okay, children with traits.
Yes, but like Mr. Practic now, you can only, like medically, we advise them to marry people with AA genotype.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it will help the offspring. At least they won't be carriers, but they'll have the traits in AS, you know what I mean?
So correct me if I'm wrong. It's AA, AS, and SS, right?
Yes.
So Mr. Patrick is SS. He can only marry AA.
He can. Well, actually, I have my own personal reservation. You can marry anyone you want. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh,
but,
so you people are not the same. But how about you? What?
But the decision after marriage is what I look at. Like as a SS patient, you can marry someone with SS, but don't have children.
Okay.
Even if you want to have children, okay, just know that okay, this is what you're expecting, and then be ready to manage whatever complication comes after.
So you're ready. That is what you're trying to tell us. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Sam. Thank you. And our director, Mr. Maxwell. For my last question, if there is any inquiries or there are people or organization who is willing to donate for SAMVIC Eneche Health Transplant, where can we be able to locate your office?
Okay, SAMVIC Eneche Health Trust Fund is implemented through Total Child Care Initiative. It's a non-governmental, non-profit organization in Abuja, Nigeria. You can reach us at Total Child Care Initiative Office. Our desk is at Total Child Care Initiative Office, Suite DB14, Zone D Shopping Complex, Apo Legislative Quarters, Gerke, Abuja.
Okay. How about here in Lokoja?
We have another office in Lokoja.
Okay.
We have at Royal International Schools, Lokongoma Phase 2 in Lokoja.
Okay.
Then you can also reach us through social network sites like Facebook. We are there as SAMVIC Eneche Health Trust Fund.
And that is easy.
Yes, and likewise Instagram. So just give up a beep and we'll reach out to you. You can also reach us on our telephone lines. That will be on the screen for you to see. And that's basically it. We are very accessible and we welcome people who are willing to contribute to making life more bearable for sickle cell patients in Nigeria and in Africa at large.
Don't say it's only in Nigeria because you don't know, maybe by tomorrow, if people can see this video, you can be also known all over the world, right?
Yes, of course. No, we can be known all over the world, but we are tackling from small to big. So we have a target, we have a space. We can't do it all. We can be worldwide, globally now. So we are looking at what we can do within Nigeria and Africa.
Okay.
We extend our hands to Africa, and that's what we are largely looking at for now.
Okay. So thank you so much, guys, for coming here and
Thank you, Ms. Vanessa.
for helping us to understand more how to manage sickle cell disease. Thank you so much. So guys, if you like this video, please help us to like, to press like, and also to share to everybody so everybody in the world can see this. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
subscribe.